morning, everyone. My name is Gursimrat Kaur, and today, with my fellow mates of 7th C, we are going to perform in drama The Last Leaf. How far are you willing to go for the sake of friendship? This is a moving story of two friends called Sue and Johnsy who live together in New York City. When Johnsy falls sick and gives up any desire to live, Mr. Berman, an unsuccessful old artist, inspires and reclaims her in that very desire. The play explores the theme of friendship, sacrifice, and the power of hope. Let us read to find out how Mr. Berman saves Johnsy's life. Characters: Prabhan as Johnsy, Summer as Sue, Hasini as Doctor, Megha as Mr. Berman, me and Veervadish as narrator. Now let's start the play.
In New York City, there's a small district just west of Washington Square called Greenwich Village, where the narrow, irregular streets have run crazy and broken themselves into short strips called places. It's an ancient residential community where many of the beautiful old brick houses date back to the 1820s. Now, in the final year of the 19th century, we find here clusters of colorful restaurants, theaters, and shops. People interested in the creative lifestyle have settled here, attracted by the quaint atmosphere and low rents. On an evening in late spring, the little cafe is busy as usual. Joanna Gaines pays for her tray of food, then looks around for a place to sit. Finally, she crosses the room to a tiny table with two chairs and only one dinner.
Excuse me, all the other tables seem to be taken. Do you mind if I sit here?
Oh no, of course not. I'd love the company. Please join me.
Thank you. My name is Joanna Gaines.
Hello, Joanna. Susan Cross. Friends call me Sue.
Hi, Sue. My friends call me Johnsy.
John Z. I like it.
It's really busy in here, isn't it? Do you eat here often?
Just about every day. It's the cheapest and the best place around. I haven't seen you here before, have I?
No, this is the first time. I just got to town 3 days ago. It's all so very different from California.
Oh, California. I've been there once. What part are you from?
A small town near San Francisco, Sebastopol. And you?
I'm from Maine. Why'd you come to New York?
To work and study. I'm an artist, or at least I'd like to be.
Oh, wonderful. So am I.
Have you lived in the village long?
About 4 months.
Soon, Sue and Johnsy become good friends and decide to share an apartment to save rent. It is at the top of a three-story brick building. Toward winter, a cold stranger called Pneumonia enters Greenwich Village. Pneumonia is not a kind old gentleman. Johnsy, used to the warm air of California, is an easy target for Pneumonia. As she lies, barely moving, on her painted iron bedstead, looking through the small window panes at the blank side of the next brick house. One morning, after the doctor has finished his third visit, Sue follows him into the hallway.
How is she, doctor?
Not good at all. I'm afraid she has one chance in, let us say, 10. And that chance is for her want to live.
Is there anything that I can do to help, doctor?
The little lady has made up her mind that she's not going to get well. Has she anything on her mind?
She, well, wanted to paint the Bay of Naples someday.
Paint. What foolishness. Has she anything on her mind worth thinking about twice? A man, for instance?
A man? Is a man worth? No, doctor. There's nothing of that kind.
Well, it's weakness then. I will do everything that I can. But when a patient gives up hope, medicine doesn't help much. What can he do to help? Well, if we can get her to show some interest in something. even the winter new styles in coat sleeves. Then I will promise you you have 1 in 5 chance for her instead of 1 in 10.
After the doctor leaves, Sue goes inside her workroom and cries for a while. Then she takes out her drawing board into Johnson's room, whistling.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8.
Johnson's eyes are open wide, and she is staring out the window. What is she counting? There is only a bare, dreary yard to be seen, and the blank side of a brick house 40 feet away. An old ivy vine, gnarled and decayed at the roots, is climbing halfway up the brick wall. The cold breath of winter has already touched it. Almost all its leaves have fallen from its dark branches.
7,
What is it, dear?
6. They're falling faster now. 3 days ago, they were almost 100. It made my head ache to count them, but now it's easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left.
5 what, dear?
Leaves on the ivy vine. When the last one falls, I must go too. I've known that for days. Didn't the doctor tell you?
Oh, I've never heard of such nonsense. What do ivy leaves have to do with your getting well? And you used to love that vine so much.
It's just a feeling I have. I don't know how I know, Sue, but somehow I do. I'm sure that when the last leaf falls off that vine, I'll die.
Don't be a little fool. The doctor told me your chances for getting well. He told me this morning. He said you had a very good chances. Try to eat a little now, and then I'll go back to work. And then I can sell my picture and buy something more for you to eat and make you strong.
You don't have to buy anything for me. There goes another. No, I don't want any broths. That leaves just 4. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I'll go too.
Jonesy, dear, will you promise me to keep your eyes closed and not look outside the window until I'm done working? I must get those drawings done by tomorrow. I need the light or I'd pull the shade down.
Couldn't you draw in the other room?
I'd rather be here with you. Besides, I don't want you to keep looking at those silly ivy leaves.
Tell me as soon as you've finished. Because I want to see the last leaf fall. I have done enough waiting. I have done enough thinking. I want to go sailing down, down like one of those leaves.
You try to get some sleep. Now, I must go downstairs and see if Mr. Berman will come up to be my model for the old hermit miner. I'll not be gone a minute. Don't try to move till I come back.
Old Berman is a painter who lives on the first floor of their house. He is past 60. He has had no success as a painter for 40 years. He has painted without ever painting a good picture. He has always talked of painting a great picture, a masterpiece, but he has never yet started it. He earns a little money by letting others paint pictures of him. He believes that it is his special duty to do everything possible to help Sue and Johnsy. Sue finds Berman in his dimly lighted den below. In one corner is a black canvas that has been waiting there for 25 years to receive the first line of the masterpiece.
She was counting backward. I asked her what she was counting and she said the ivy leaves. She's convinced when the last leaf falls, she'll die too. I'm scared.
What? Are there such fools? Do people die because leaves drop off a tree? I have not heard of such a thing. No, I will not come up and sit while you make a picture of me. Why do you allow her to think such a thing? That poor little Johnsy.
She is very sick and weak. The sickness has put these strange ideas into her mind. Mr. Berman, if you won't come, you won't. But I don't think you're very nice.
This is like a woman who said I will not come. Go. I come with you. For half an hour I have been trying to say that I will come. God, this is not any place for someone so good as John C. to lie sick. Some day I shall paint my masterpiece and we shall go away from here. God, yes.
Johnsy is sleeping when they reach upstairs. A cold, persistent rain is falling, mingling with snow. Sue pulls Johnsy's shade down to window sill and motions Berman into the other room where they peer fearfully out of the window at the ivy vine. They look at each other, neither speaking. Then Berman, in his old blue shirt, takes his seat as hermit miner on an upturned kettle for a rock. Later, when the sketch is done, the old man goes on his way. Sue begins to paint. She works through most of the night. In the morning, after an hour's sleep, she goes to Johnsy's bedside. Johnsy, with wide open eyes, is looking towards the window and the drawn shade.
Have something to eat this morning, won't you, Jonesy? Just a little broth or a taste of fruit.
Pull it up. I want to see.
Look, Jonesy, it's still there. All that weather and it's still there.
It's the last one. I thought it would surely fall during the night. I heard so much wind. It will fall today, and I'll die at the same time.
Dear, dear Jonesy, think of me. If you won't think of yourself, what would I do if you should die?
Johnsy does not answer. The most lonely thing in this world is a soul when it is preparing to go on its far journey. The ties that hold Johnsy to friendship and to earth are breaking one by one. The day slowly passes. As it grows dark, Sue and Johnsy can still see the leaf hanging from its branch against the wall. And then, as the night comes, the north wind begins again to blow. The rain still beats against the window. When it is light enough the next morning, Johnsy again commands that she be allowed to see. The leaf is still there. Johnsy lies for a long time looking at it.
Sue, come in here for a moment, will you? Sit here beside me. I have something I want to say.
Jonesy, I wish you wouldn't keep on about the leaf. I really can't stand to hear you talk that way.
I know, Sue. I know. I promise. Don't go. Please don't go.
Well, all right. If you promise you not talk about death.
Oh, Sue, what an awful person I've been. I've been sitting here for the longest time, staring out the window at the last leaf, thinking of the past few days. All of a sudden, it came to me.
What? What came to you, dear?
Sue, something made that last leaf stay on the vine so that I realized how bad I have been. It was a message. Don't you see, Sue? Something wanted me to live.
Oh, Jonesy.
Someday, Sue, I'm going to paint the Bay of Naples.
Oh, Jonesy, Jonesy. How wonderful. I'm so happy.
You can bring me a little broth now and some milk. And no, bring me a hand mirror first and pack some pillows about me, and I'll sit up and watch you cook.
When the doctor comes in the afternoon, he finds Johnsy full of color of life and declares the battle won.
She will be just fine. All she needs now is good food and nursing.
Thank you, doctor. I'll see that she gets them.
Good. And now I must see another case I have downstairs. Bearman, his name is an artist, I believe.
Oh, no, not Mr. Berman. I hadn't heard. What's wrong with him?
Pneumonia too.
Oh, my God. Is it bad?
Yes, I am sorry to say, quite bad. He's an old man. He is very weak, and it was too late for me to do very much. There is no hope for him, but he goes to the hospital today to be made more comfortable.
The day passes and Johnsy grows stronger by the hour. Sue goes about her necessary errands. The drawings have to be delivered, and of course, she must visit Mr. Berman in the hospital.
I have something to tell you, dear. Our Mr. Berman died of pneumonia today.
Oh dear God. No.
He'd been ill for only 2 days. On the morning of the first day, the janitor found him downstairs. His shoes and his clothing were wet, his apartment icy cold, and he was helpless with pain. At first, they couldn't imagine where he'd been on such a dreadful night, but when they found a lantern still burning and a ladder that had been dragged from its place and in his room, they found brushes and a palette with green and yellow colors on them. Look out the window at the last leaf. Didn't you wonder why it never fluttered or moved when the window blew? The leaf is Mr. Berman's masterpiece. He painted it there that night, the night the last leaf fell.
Now we are done with the play based on the story of O. Henry. I think everyone did a fabulous job.